A lot of people don't collect plastic radios. They go after the more fancier wood models from the 20s, 30s, and early 40s. I myself like the plastic models. They're very Art Deco-ish. The colors are sometimes extreme with the greens and the pinks and whatnot. But occasionally you find a couple you like and are in good shape, and you bring them home. And I enjoy them. Some of them need more repair than others, and some of them play just fine with the original parts all still intact. Now the one on the left I've showed you before. This is a 1949 Ward's Airline model 94BR 1525A, and they made this cabinet in a variation of walnut, ivory, and red. And I've even seen kind of a seafoamy green on the internet on radiomuseum.com. I had this set powered up in a previous video. It shows the signs of IF can disease, silver mica disease in the IF cans. That was about it for this one. I pushed it off to the side. I didn't have time at the time to mess with it, so it kind of got put by the wayside here a while back. This other set that I have is a Motorola, and I just bought this yesterday for a whole whopping $15 at an antique mall here locally. And this radio was built between 1941 and 1942. This is a Motorola, it's a 51X12 is the model of this radio. And as you can see, it's a plastic cabinet. It's missing a chip out of this front grill right here. And these radios were available in white, or ivory I should say, ivory and brown. And there's even a wood model available for this particular design, but I think it was like a 51X11 or 13 or whatnot. But these designs, the 51X models, were built between 1939 and 1942. So there's several variations of this set. One neat thing I discovered after I got this home is that this handle is spring-loaded. And I don't know if I'll be able to do this one-handed, but it pops up for carrying. It's wanting to be stubborn this morning, but it sticks down inside the cabinet about that far, and it's on springs, so it pops up and you can carry the set wherever you want it. And then when you let go of the handle, it retracts automatically. Now this set I've been eyeballing for some time. This radio came from the same antique mall where I bought the Farnsworth 61 GT a while back, and it was right beside the Farnsworth. And I looked at it, and what really swayed me from buying it was this missing piece of plastic in the grill right here. Now it is in rough condition, but it does have all of its original knobs and features and stuff that it needs. The original back is on it, and it was marked Works when I bought it yesterday. But after a brief investigation of the line cord on the end, we have a huge crack in that rubberized plug, and I wouldn't advise plugging it in right now. So I've been watching some videos online of how to repair plastic cabinets. And I think when I tackle this set, you can see how big that piece is it's missing. I'm going to go to an approach that somebody had mentioned about using Bondo filler to patch these cabinets when you have a piece missing like that. Now there was a guy over in the UK that took a radio he had that had a huge hole in the front grill area. Now you could see the exposed speaker pretty clearly. And he used a fiberglass mesh he cut into strips, and then used that as backer, I should say, and installed it into the face of the radio, sanded back wherever it was he needed to match the new into the old, and installed the Bondo product over top of the fiberglass mesh, just as you would in an auto body repair on a vehicle, and put it in there, sanded it down, tooled it down, primed it, painted it, and by golly, by the time he was done, you could not tell the difference between where the old material ended and the new material began. Done a phenomenal job. Looked beautiful. I mean, if you were to look at that set for the first time, you would have never figured out that it was missing one whole side of its speaker grill. Done an awesome job. Now I'll turn this radio around and show you the back. The back is original. It's pretty weather beaten. I imagine this thing's set inside of a house in front of a window to fade this the way it did. The cardboard's pretty weak, and it's tore out around one of the pegs that holds the back on. You know, common signs of wear, you'll have that. Now the tube complement this set uses is a normal 5-tube lineup for the older style radios that use the larger bases. It's got a 12 SA7 GT, a 12 SK7 GT, 51X12 SQ7 GT, 50L6 GT, and a 35Z5 GT rectifier tube. And this radio is AM broadcast only. So we're going to dissect this one today, take it apart, see what it looks like. I might, after an inspection, replace the end of this plug. You can see a big crack in that plug right there with exposed wires sticking out. And if everything checks out in there, nothing looks violently ill, I might try to power this up and see what we have. So, bear with me. This is definitely going to make for one interesting conversation piece in the video. I pulled the Motorola 51X12 out of its cabinet, which the first thing I was greeted by when I pulled it out was a big blob of wax out of a capacitor. I'm not exactly sure which one that was, but somewhere one of them's leaking. Actually, there's a couple spots up in there it's leaking, and there's that handle I was telling you about that comes up on top of the cabinet. Needs cleaned up and the spring lubricated, and it probably would work pretty well. But this radio is not a stranger to the repair shop from what I'm seeing, and we have some condition issues, and as we would with this radio, of the age too, that the speaker is needing reconed. It has come loose out here, and somebody has reglued it with like a substance like Elmer's glue around this outer edge. So I might send that off and have that reconed. The bezel over the dial here is pushed in with rivets. There's little rivets that pop in. They kind of look like those. And it's shrunk, so it's very loose. I'll have to look for a dial bezel replacement. And we have some newer caps that have been installed, and few other funky things. Let me show you here in a minute. I gotta switch my batteries. So I went online to Nostalgia Air and downloaded the proper schematic this time for a Motorola 51X12. Now this schematic will also cover a 51X11, a 51X15, and a 51X16. These chassis were manufactured several different variations and over a term of about 3 years for this particular design of radio. And when you're looking it up, you'll have to look under Galvin Manufacturing. That's what Motorola was back in its day. So we look back over here at our set, and a couple things jumped right at me as soon as I pulled this out, that we have a few new caps in here. This is obviously a replacement of a more modern component. These are some old school wax caps. The one that leaked has to be one of these two right in here, or maybe even before this was replaced, because this is the across the line 0.05 microfarad at 600 volt is what the replacement is. I'll have to see what the original was. Across the line cap, across the AC line cap, somebody has replaced. So I don't know if that thing had just dried up and leaked over the years, and somebody powered it up. It probably popped, or did what, they let the magic smoke out or whatnot, and decided, okay, well that cap's bad, I'll replace it, and that's a modern cap. At one point this 1 mega ohm resistor was replaced. That's a Central Labs product. Up here we have the main filter caps for the unit. This blue 20 microfarad and 150 volt has been piggybacked on the back side of the original 3-section 20 microfarad at 150 volt electrolytic paper capacitor or filter cap. And interesting, I'm not sure exactly what this is. I'm going to have to look it up. It's a ceramic substance. And this is a capacitor that comes off of the volume control pot with a wire. It goes into where the capacitor hooks up on the negative side, I believe. Then the wire wraps continuously around the capacitor to the other end, joins the positive side of the capacitor, and then the capacitor is soldered back to the audio output tube. Very funky setup. I'm going to take some pictures of that. That way anybody can diagnose that farther. Looks like all the original dog bone resistors are still in. Very interesting set. So if it worked, I don't know how well it worked. And we see over here our electrolytic capacitors. 1 section, 2 section, 3 section. All 20 microfarads at 150 volt. There's our rectifier tube. Our 50L6 GT power output tube. The 12SQ7 GT is the detector, AVC AF tube. The 12SK7 GT is an IF amplifier. And our 12SA7 GT is a oscillator modulator tube. Now this tube lineup complement is exactly the same as my RCA Victor 65U sets, and this was common in a lot of these older radios too. So I'm going to have to do some digging. I want to blow up this chart here on my scanner bed so I have a bigger picture of this whole section right here, so I can go through here and number the pin tubes if they aren't numbered. Pin tube, 2 pins. Let's try that again. Dummy. Then I can blow up this description parts list here too and figure out what everything should be in case it's not properly marked inside the chassis. Now some of you might wonder what's going on with the Sylvania restoration. Well, the Sylvania restoration has been put on hold in lieu of some other things that come up. Plus I got an extension to the end of August, so it's sitting and resting comfortably back here in its little box. All of its parts have been gathered and it's back there out of the way. And I want to try something with this little airline set, see if I can get it working again. And this Motorola, when it come in, I want to try to see what I can do with it. And the Bondo product back here too, because I'm going to have to review that video one more time and see his technique. Like I said, very extensive restoration what he done on his part. So, being everything looks good in this radio, I think I might actually try to power this up and see how it does. Alrighty, I apologize for the poor lighting, but I want to be able to see everything as it lights up, tube condition wise, and the light overhead kind of drowns all that out. Plus these tubes are extremely dirty, they're going to need cleaned. So I've got it hooked to my Variac back here through an isolation transformer. We're sitting at 0 volts right now. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And we'll slowly start to increase the voltage till we see some life out of this thing. Oh wow, immediately we got dial bulb lighting up. That's only at about 20 volts. I'll go up to about 50. It's about 70 right there. Starting to see the tubes light up. That's a good sign. The amp meter's not showing excessive draw. Up. Well, I'll be damned.
Is Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, where it's the $50,000 red, white,
it's about 110 volts.
This Friday and Saturday, July 5th and 6th. Each day from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. 5 winners. Every 30 minutes will take home.
These other tubes are so dirty you can't see the filaments glowing in them. I'm going to turn the light back on overhead.
Only at Hollywood Casino, where the stage
Awesomeness.
and the whole cast is here.
Obviously that speaker is going to need reconed.
To the kitchen, to the movers and shakers on the dance floor.
610 WTBN over in Columbus. That's odd. A dead spot in that switch. Odd.
5KRC. Tim Back, a tree physician, not a mortician. Save Ash.
55 KRC out of Cincinnati.
Heading into early afternoon, some periods of steady rain too. Look for some standing water on some of those roadways. We get into the afternoon and scattered showers and some opportunities for roll thunder. Highs today only 70.
Seeing some flipping of this dial bulb as it's on too.
Overnight tonight, 68 degrees, rain shower.
That's odd. See that? Yeah, I think it's time to power this one down. It's acting a little erratic, but it does work. So it obviously does show signs that it's needing recapped and a little TLC, because probably the last time this thing's seen a service shop was, oh, I'd say, besides a do-it-yourself restorer, put some new caps in there, has been several years. So there we go for now. Like I said, the Sylvania is on the back burner for a while. I'm still researching a few other problems that have cropped up I haven't posted anything about. I've gotten a lot of good comments and feedback about what needs to be done to that set to make it correct again. Because somebody's been in there where they didn't belong and done some modifications, and, well, they weren't what was supposed to have been done according to the schematics. So we got to go in there and change some stuff. That's why I'm having such a problem with that. So for now, this is the Motorola 51X12 from right around 1941 to 42. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun taking it apart, taking a look inside. I'm glad it does work. We didn't want to power it very long, and I hope the person that powered this the first time didn't run it very long. So we're going to have to look for a dial bezel. I want to get this old nasty yellow one off of here. Find some more of these old push pins that go in here. And I might call up Speaker Freak 95 and see what he thinks about reconing this poor old speaker for me. So for now, guys, thanks for watching, and there will be more to come later.